Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Galactic History Show. It's the second show for the week this week, and I can hear the birds outside because the sun is just coming up. So good morning to wherever you are, or good evening, good afternoon, to the people in the chat, to the people who are listening to this afterwards. We're all participating in the same moment of now. Now, with me today is Nickie Thetsy. Andrew is actually taking the show off today. He's been churning his way through the incredible backlog of readings that he's had since we started these shows a couple of months back. He's within striking range of finishing the readings in about 4 or 5 days. He's doing sessions of 3, 4, 5, 6 people at a time, and last couple of days he's actually worn his voice out, and he's got a session to do in a couple of hours. So we've given him a couple of hours off, and Nickie and I are going to press on with the instruction manual for the human body that you never got at birth. So good morning, Nickie.
Good morning, Chris. Aloha.
Aloha to you. You've been having some exciting adventures in Hawaii. We had a little chat about that yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Swimming with turtles in some pretty rough surf.
Yes, I actually did triple somersault under the water, unintentionally.
Yeah, we the surf swimming's very popular down here in Australia, and there are some pretty wild beaches, and some of the time you end up in a situation which I used to call the washing machine, where you're actually getting tossed around like you were a handkerchief, particularly on beaches with a short, sharp wave action. You can end up, shall we just say, getting pounded on the sand and tossed around. It's quite an experience. In fact, probably one of the ones I remember most is actually being hit in the head with my own knee. That hurt, as I recall. However, welcome to the show. It's good that you're actually on vacation with Andrew, because it means we can quickly reorganize things before the show if there's some issue like there is with Andrew today.
Yeah.
So
it's really funny. The Wi-Fi connection's been really good since we moved into this new location, and Andrew's been on the radio, and we never had problems until you put me and him together, and then there goes the Wi-Fi. Indeed.
They really don't want you two on the air together. Divine feminine and divine masculine is something that they especially seem to be worried about, and rightly so, because we're putting out a huge amount of information about particularly at the moment, about how the human body actually works, and this has been lost to the collective for so long that it's probably having that ripple effect as people hear the information and realise that there are things that they just have never known about their bodies and about the relationships we're supposed to have, particularly between male and female.
That is correct, and we've been cheated, hijacked in so many ways and shape and form, so that we are not connected with our inner body. Because the key to activation, the key to ascension, and also intuitive development is to be connected with oneself.
Yep, I just got a note from KP that Quilapele that he's actually waiting for his cosmic radiance vehicle, that is a Honda CR-V, to be serviced. So he's probably available to have a bit of a chat.
Oh, wonderful. That should be fun. I think today will be maybe a hodgepodge of just everything, and we can also take calls.
Well,
if that's okay with you.
That's fine by me. We can take a couple of calls for sure.
Okay.
I'll just send KP a bit of a message there, just so he knows that we will call him back. Very good. Look, before we do, we'll do a couple of announcements. Andrew's videos that he produced at Mount Shasta with Lance White a couple of months back, and now being put on the internet on a channel called Creating 5D. There is somewhere around, well, let me check. I shall check. Last night there was 12. I think there's around 15 now. They're about 25 minutes apiece. They are running through essentially the detail of the information follows a similar overall pattern to the first 3 shows that we did on walking in energy. And with Lance, however, they're going into a bit more detail and really enjoying them at this stage. Yeah, looking like there's actually 12 up at the moment, which is great. They're already, the views are starting to crank up slightly, and as people find out about them, no doubt they'll pop up even more. So drop into those and have a listen. There's lots of little snippets here and there that we haven't covered off yet, because every time you talk to Andrew, of course, you get different layers of information coming through. So have a look at those. Later this month, Nickie and I are actually doing a couple of seminars, webinars, let's call them webinars. And we settled on the dates of the 21st and the 28th of September. The timing is going to be PST time, about 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., but that's not fixed in stone yet, but the dates we're pretty sure are going to work, so we're putting them out there. And there's 2 seminars. Nickie, do you want to talk about them?
Yes, we set it on the September 21st and the 28th, and I would like to propose of discussing in terms of how to use sacred geometry, what they are, and also finding out all the ley lines, and also feng shuiing the buildings, how the engineers are working on a higher level to. Hello?
You're on still, Nickie. It's all good.
Oh, okay. I could not hear you.
No, I just muted so I could type a message into the chat. Didn't want the type
to come
through.
And so we wanted to find the ley lines and figure out how we can go into building structures that they build on ley lines to harvest the energy. Okay, because the ley line generates energy, and as the energy comes out, one can use the building structure to harvest that. So we want to figure out where they're located, and then to either, basically cut off that supply, okay? And we can use cones to basically harness that energy and convert it and then redirect it to a higher purpose. So that's something I think will be a lot of fun for our listeners to do. And because from our last week conversation, we had that really amazing caller, I think it was Elizabeth, that had called in and brought up this topic. And it's one of the topics that I wanted to, have a lot of people involved, because we're at that point where we need to regroup ourselves and taking proactive in contributing how we can dismantle the energy grid work.
Yes.
And it's very simple. You really don't have to know a lot. And, you can use simple tools like pendulum or the L rod, and that is something that I provide as well. And, you can take that and you walk around and just find the energy line. And a lot of times, if you don't notice, buildings that you're in are used to create energy. Okay.
Yeah, the seminars are actually going to be extremely useful particularly for light workers, particularly those who already do grid work or energy work. They should be able to pick up this technique and actually use it immediately. And the only thing they really need to do is identify which buildings are being used in this fashion. And when we talked about this, Nickie, you talked about it being like flicking off a switch for them, like turning the lights out. And
that's right.
that is really going to upset their technology a big time.
Right. And what I like about this, Chris, is that this is my easy button. I like everything easy button, short and sweet and powerful. Okay. So it's like going straight for, the jugular vein on your neck, where you cut that off and cut off all the blood supply to the heart, and automatically it's shut off and dead. Okay. But it's the safest way, and there's nothing to clean up after, and it's the most cost-effective way. Right, because, if you look at it, there are those that go out there and burn up buildings, okay? They go and cause, physical harm, and that's not what we want to do.
No,
we don't want to cause
not at all.
any physical harm to building structure, to Mother Earth. Yes, anytime you go and blow up things up, it will cause physical harm, has an effect on the Mother Earth and the people that are in that area.
Well, not only that.
So we don't want that.
The cities, what Nickie's talking about are major buildings, particularly in the central business districts of large cities, in addition to churches and monasteries. Things that are directly related to religion are particularly used for this. And dotted all over the planet are these mechanisms that they're using to harvest energy from us. Now, we paid for all that infrastructure. They're nice, shiny buildings. We don't want to do anything to them. We just want to reclaim their usage, repurpose them.
Right.
Which is the theme of one of the other shows we're working on, is repurposing the existing infrastructures and resources that we have to what the people really need. And this is just another aspect of it. And particularly at the energetic level, which certainly up until I started working with the particularly with Peter and Michael from Avatar Energy Institute, become painfully aware that everything is operating at an energetic level first and foremost. So that's what they're doing. So let's flick those switches, turn it off, make those energy sources go dark for them. That would be tremendous. And it will help the cause, because if the whole domination and control system is being held in place by multidimensional beings who are harvesting energy, the more we can chop that off, the quicker we'll resolve this.
That's correct. And like I said, this is my easy button. Anybody can participate, okay? And it's simple. And and because I know that many people are concerned, okay, how do I do this? Do I need to go and take classes? And some people do and participate in the Avatar school or one of those Harry Potter schools that teach you these things. But it's not as hard as you think. There are ley lines everywhere. We're not going to destroy any of those ley lines. We're just transforming the energies. That's all we're doing, okay? And figure out where and who is trying to harvest this energy. Because we know that they harvest this energy, but the energy is pure and clean, okay? It's just that when they take it, they use that for darker purpose. And that's what we want to cut off their blood supplies.
Excellent. Now, the second seminar is on a completely different subject.
Yes.
Which is?
Oh, and I do want to tell you that I wanted to bring some of the archangels, Michael, and the Guan Yin sisterhood energies to come in to participate in the teleseminar as well, because some of these people are already working the grid, and they're very, Chris, I can't tell you how much, they're very tuned into my energy. And these people I don't even know of. And all the experiences that I've gone through, they indicated, okay, word by word, exactly describe some of the things that I have experienced and seen or create. And so I'm really excited to bring some of these people on air and share with us what are some of the things that they have been doing. And it's funny how where we are at, because there's a reason and purpose why we're located where we're located.
You mean at the moment in Hawaii?
At the moment. Well, not just here, but also some of the people where they're living. For example, one of my associates, she's living in the heart of the Rothschild, quarters,
Oh, right. Okay.
in UK.
So
So you
she's
know
in the
what
city of London somewhere.
That's correct. So that is the heart of it. And it's not a good energy place. So she goes and dismantles some of the energies already, but we wanted to jack up the energy and use the cones to dismantle those energies and reconvert it into a higher purpose. So it's very exciting. I'm very excited to go over this, and we'll use Google satellite map and figure out different locations. We'll discuss the White House and the Pentagon. I mean, look at the Pentagon. What shape is that?
Yeah. Could they be any more obvious? And even here, the capital city of Canberra is a sacred geometry city, and it's specifically on one of the biggest energy points in the whole planet. They supposedly had a competition to find the location. Well, there was only ever going to be one location, and that's where it is right now. So, in this country, we've got a job of disconnecting Canberra, the capital city, from this energy harvesting system. So everybody has their work cut out for them, Nickie.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the second seminar was going to be for parenting indigo children.
Yes. Indigo children, crystal children, autistic, and that's one of Andrew's favorite topic to talk about. Children are very close to my heart, and they are very, very special. So we definitely wanted to discuss that. And I work with children myself, and I have 15 nieces and nephews, so I have worked with them since they were born. And oh, yes. And so we'll discuss more about that. How do we parent them? How do we give love to them? On the emotional, mental, spiritual, and the physical level as well. Very, very important that we define all those four aspects.
Excellent. Okay, well, that'll be advertised through the SovereignMedia.net website, and we'll certainly through our respective Facebook pages, which and I must thank people who are putting comments on my Facebook pages. It's really, really nice to get the great feedback that we're getting on the shows, etc. It's I've been somewhat disconnected from that aspect of the alternative media, but it is good to get the feedback that we're actually getting, and encourages us to keep doing the work, as much as possible. I have to also say that it's taking me a little time to fit it into my schedule to actually work on the stuff I'm getting through email and through Facebook, gradually getting to know the Facebook interface, etc. So that volume will increase as we go. Don't think I'm being shy and retiring. Got quite a few things on at the moment. Even just organising this stuff with Nickie takes a certain amount of conversation and time just to sort out the days we're going to do it on, doesn't it, Nickie?
Yes, it does require extra time off air where we sit and discuss, and getting organized. And I think that sometimes it's very hard for light workers to do, is to sit down and getting organized in our thoughts and what we want to verbalize. And because there's so much things to say, and everyone has his whole own life that we have to manage, in addition to this, the radio show that involves the entire galactic, the whole universe, and considering how many beings and humans that are listening.
Yeah, just saw a note in the chat room here saying that we need secretaries. Well, yes, we actually do. I am getting some help, though. I've got Renee who's jumped up and has been helping me with the Facebook page, and big thanks to Renee and a few other people here and there. So we do get some assistance. It's Renee is actually in the same town as me, so we're on the same time zone, which makes a huge difference, Nickie, because
yes.
I know Andre in Adelaide assists Andrew and yourself with some of your activities and scheduling and so forth, but you're all in different time zones, so there's this constant need to actually make sure that you're ahead of the game, so that the time zone doesn't cause a slip in information flow and upset the apple cart at the wrong moment. So,
So
all very
that, and
interesting.
also the time zone, it can also really take away your sleep, your rest time, and also your more functioning life.
Yeah, well, we've got a Facebook campaign going on at the moment, which I do need to mention. And in fact, I might bring KP in if he's here, because I wanted him to be aware of this, because we do actually need to get information out about it when it's ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a short, sharp campaign, and it's very specific, and it's very important. And it's all about focusing people's attention on the mainstream media issue for a very specific newspaper here in Australia, who's actually put out a major one full-page ad about a week and a half ago at this stage, claiming that they are completely free of corporate influence and have integrity and will print the truth. And we took that as a great big red flag as come and talk to us. We want to find out what's on your mind. That's what we're going to be doing. The Facebook page is something that's been keeping me up late, which is one of the reasons why I'm very short of sleep at the moment. There's a group of 5 or 6 of us who are working on putting this out. It's going to be very specifically asking people to answer some questions and put in a comment. We'd like to get tens of thousands, if not over 100,000 plus people commenting on this, because the comments are all going to end up in the lap of the editor at The Age. And we're essentially focusing the whole thing on this newspaper publishing information about the financial industry and the fraud that's gone on for decades, and as a secondary but closely related issue, the fact that many governments on this planet are corporations, and they're hiding it. They do not want us to know that. So we're putting it back onto the newspapers as it's time for some truth. That again that's just another thing that's going on the side. Got a great team of people working with us on that. It's probably 24, 48 hours from going live at this stage. It's being handled by someone who's got great experience in Facebook and can really put out some complex Facebook pages. So one of the aspects of it is that we are intending to have comments emailed directly to the information email address at the Age newspaper. So as you hit the button and answer questions, they'll be getting an email from you. And we want them to get many thousands of emails pouring into that line there with people saying this is the truth that we want. It also gives us an opportunity to leverage other newspapers, because we can go to other newspapers and say, hey, these guys are doing the right thing, how about you? And interestingly enough, Andrew's been saying for some time that newspapers were the key to cracking the media, and when this ad popped up, we all went, whoa, something going on here. Never seen anything like this before. I've read out the actual ad on other shows, so I won't necessarily put it out here. It will be up on the Facebook page, and it's just a few paragraphs, but it's very specific. They put themselves right out on a limb and said, here, pull this great big lever. So if everyone could keep an eye out for that, we need it to go absolutely viral when it hits. We need it to just be absolutely swamped, because we really want them to know actually 2 things. First of all, that we heard the message and that we're telling them what we want, and secondly, that we've got their back, because they are going to get a lot of pressure from you-know-who when this goes viral. So they have to know that we're actually going to support them in that. So that's my little message rant for today, Nickie. Have you got any other news you want to put forth?
Yes, I actually had to push my my Lotus healing service a week later after I returned to San Diego, and that's because I scheduled it where I needed to get caught up to manufacture the Tano products, and because we have such a high demand, and I don't have enough supplies right now to make them And so I'm still waiting, as a matter of fact, for the shipment to be to come. And so as soon as I get back to the state, that's one thing that I wanted to focus on, is to be able to finish making all the product and send them off in the order that I have received. So I wanted our listener to be aware of that. And when you purchase the Tano, there is no where I set up Skype and have a direct contact with the buyers. And all I do is, and all I need is basically just look at your name, and I can literally tune into your energy field and then tell you if what kind of disc or pendants or cones that are made just right for you. Because even if they are same product, okay, it's not quite the same. So, like I said, tune into your energy field, and I can tell you what are your needs. And if there's any questions about in terms of the things that you pick and it's not right for you, I will contact you directly. So I wanted to let our listeners know that. And, it's not, I'm not sending out, I'm not doing my work. It's just right now I'm waiting for supplies to come in from Korea, so I can't do anything about it. So, but definitely I think the earliest products that will be finished and shipped off will be maybe the first week of October. And I definitely wanted to finish all of that, hopefully before I go anywhere else. So that's my priority. I wanted to let our listener know that you guys are on my mind and my heart, and I know that you need those products. I just don't have enough right now to ship to anyone. And Chris, how are you feeling with your T-Nano technologies that you have?
Very good, actually. Very good. The pendant, I actually, when I actually received it, I actually put it in my pocket and actually took the dog for a walk. And within a couple of minutes, I could actually feel an effect. Now, for me, and it'll probably be different for everybody, there's a certain effect I get in my chest when, and the best way to describe this is vibrationally, when the vibrational level goes up. Now, I'm familiar with this because, folks, if you get on a call with Nickie and Andrew, you're kind of getting blasted with energy, whether you realize it or not. And if you speak to them for a little while and then sort of hang up and walk away, you realize that you're actually quite, the best word is buzzing. Now the effect of the pendant is the same, but it's at a lower but very consistent level. It's there all the time, and it actually really does have an effect. It stirs up one's bodily energies quite noticeably. So I'm really enjoying that. And the cone seems to be a bit different. No, it's not a cone actually. You call it the disc, don't you, Nickie? It's sort of it's a truncated cone, in fact.
Yes, it is. It is, and you're correct about that. And but I call it disc because it kind of looks like a hockey puck disc.
Yes, it
does. It is different energy from the cone itself. Okay, the cone is much more powerful.
And different to the pendant?
Yes. Size matters.
Yes. Now, what I've been doing with... Go ahead, talk. Yep, go ahead.
And the pendant is much smaller, Chris, and most of the time you want to wear it where it lands on your chest, the middle of your chest. Mm-hmm. And if you're feeling sick, okay, like a cold coming or you're weak and tired, what you do is you raise up the pendant where you place. So you want to go, like I would say, right below, an inch below your clavicle. Okay, that's where you want to place them. And it will actually help increase your immune system. It will increase your immune system, and you literally can get over a cold. I went to the Glendale event with Project Camelot when I did a work there. And there's this gentleman, he came to my desk and to my table, and he's like, oh, I don't believe this, and he was having really bad cold. And I said, okay, why don't you sit and have a free healing? And that's all I did. I gave him my disc, and I said, put it right there, okay, an inch below your clavicle. and he sat there for about 5-10 minutes, and his cold was gone.
Now, that was the disc or the pendant?
He used the disc.
The disc, and
the disc is better than, it's bigger than the pendant, so it works faster.
With the disc, obviously it's a truncated cone, so one of the surfaces is slightly smaller than the other. Is there more energy emanating out of one side, or is it equal from both of the flat surfaces?
Okay, the disc and the pendant, okay, hold similar structure. And it will have the top and the bottom. Okay, the bottom is more wider, and that is where you see the logo image that looks like an elephant. Okay, and that is the bottom. The top part has the shape of a seed of life, not flower of life, seed of life. Okay, so you wanted to place the image of elephant looking on your
we may have lost you, Nickie.
chest, touching your skin. That part is actually, it sends the energy to you. Hello?
No, you're here.
Hello?
It's okay. It was just we had a big delay just for a moment there. I think we heard everything.
Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, good.
Okay, so there's more energy coming through the symbol of the elephant.
That's right. So if you need energy field, okay, if you need more energy to you, then you place the elephant shape against your skin. Okay. So in a situation where, let's say, you're dealing with a broken heart, traumatized, okay, and your chest is so full of energy over time because you had broken heart and traumatized that you kept it to a point where you can't breathe. And a lot of people can relate to this because that's what you call holding a lot of stuff in your closet and needs to come out, whatever that may be, okay, including, broken heart relationship, trauma, and it's so full that it's ready to explode, just like a balloon, okay? When you put too much air in the balloon, it will eventually explode. So there's two ways you can treat this, okay? One, you can push in energy and allow the balloons to explode, and then the energy will dissipate, okay? When it dissipates, you'll have little chunks, okay? It will kind of scatter around your chest area. Another way you can do it, then of course you have to go and individually physically remove those spots like a glob, okay, of maybe dark energies, globs that you have to go pull it out. The other method is to pull it out. So instead of allowing the balloon full of air to explode, you just go and release it. Okay, just go and release it where the opening of the balloon is. So what you do is you take the disc and you flip it over, and you use the seed of life image on the top. Okay, and you place that against the skin. It'll suck it out. You won't feel the explosion. Okay.
Okay.
So once you remove those energies, okay, you can literally flip the disc over and then replace it with high-frequency energy. And this is where a lot of times when people that are doing healing, they go and remove stuff out. Okay, it's like saying, like a piggy bank. A piggy bank, you need to refill it. Whatever you take out, you have to fill it in with newer, cleaner, high-frequency energy.
Excellent. So it actually has the disc, both the disc.
Otherwise, the body will go back and search.
Yeah,
yes.
all of these objects that you create, they have an energy that's being directed out the top, and it's being pulled in through the bottom.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And you can actually use that to advantage, is what you're saying.
Yes, definitely. It's just a matter of preference as well. And if you were to use the elephant-looking logo against your skin, okay, on your first, second, and third chakras, okay, you literally can have an erection for a male, okay?
Okay.
And yes, you can, and also an orgasm as well for both men and women.
Interesting. And I presume with the cones, that's more accentuated.
Yes. The hard part with the cone is that you have to have, somebody has to hold it for you, or you have to hold it, so you can't completely relax unless you use a lot of pillows and set it up in such a way. And I even consider building a kind of a platform rod where you can turn the cones upside down, okay, and shoot the energy directly to all of your 7 chakras. That would be the most amazing. Okay, just kind of like John of God when you have the crystal healing. Okay, that's how it is set up. So my cones, if those of you who are interested, you can get 7 of the cones and align it with your 7 chakra, and you lay down on a bed or healing table and to receive that. That is really amazing. If not, you can literally put 7 of them underneath your, let's say, healing table. Okay, you can also do that. It's very powerful. Super powerful.
Now, what about doing things like Andrew suggested putting salt on the back of in a Ziploc bag on the back of your neck, or salt on the coccyx, down on the base of the spine, placing things like the disc directly on those areas, pointed inward, so that you're actually pointing the energy field into your body. What sort of effect will that have?
Well, when you use salt, its purpose is to neutralize things. Okay, it just neutralizes. Okay, when you use the Tano technology, it cleans it out. It's just like air filter. I call it the chi filter. It cleans it out, and then it gives you the high frequency replacement. Okay, our body is made of energy. If somebody comes in and remove those energy, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. The thing is, your body is like a box. It has to be filled up with energy. If it doesn't, then you go out and you're looking to be a sponge and absorb. Whether it's good or bad, most people are not even aware, so they go and absorb them. So guess what? Now your body is full of, let's say, negative energy frequency when you're not aware. That's why the T-Nano product comes in. It comes in because it allows you to filter out your chi and then replace it with a high frequency. So now you become happy because your energy field is full.
Yeah, well, I've certainly noticed a more consistency of mood, I suppose you could say, wearing the actual the cone, not the cone. I wouldn't wear a cone. Wearing the pendant.
Pendant, yeah. And you want consistency. Okay, you don't want to be like a yo-yo energy person up and down, and it's translating then becomes into your human emotional field, and you have a good day, bad day, and you're like up and down. We don't want that. That is not good for the psyche. Okay, on your emotional and mental. And it affects your spiritual and your physical level because it will affect you at the cellular level because the cell has to produce endocrine and making new cells and blood and, name it, all sorts of biochem to sustain your physical well-being. That's why you want to have consistency. That's called being in harmony, not balance. It's about being in harmony. Balance is like standing in the middle of the gushing river and you're standing against it. That's balancing your body.
Very good. And the last point I wanted to actually ask you about...
When you're in harmony, you go with the flow of the river.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to ask you about with the disc was that Larry Bazell suggested actually sleeping with it under the pillow, which I found very interesting, and I have done that. Now, we had a seminar with Teal Scott and Andrew a couple of weeks back, and one of the subjects that came up was the fact that when Teal and Andrew have had contact with pretty much anybody, that they start working with them in dream time. Well, a couple of mornings I have woken up when I've used the disc. I've actually woken up, and what I'm hearing is Teal Scott's voice. Right? That's never happened before. certainly not from teal, but I have had that experience when I have very short, quick naps during the day, but never when I wake up in the morning. So the disc is actually definitely having an effect there on dreaming. I'm under the impression that I am doing a lot more intense dreaming when I do this with the disc under the pillow. So is that the experience you'd expect?
Yes, definitely. And the experience is different for everyone. Okay, it depends on your spiritual journey and what you choose to do. And some go in and deal with their karma, and some, can see the future. So it just depends on the level where you're at and the lessons that you need to learn or resolve. And for you, you're working with Teal Scott. And that's amazing. And I want to tell you, it's not just a dream. You guys were connected on a different dimension, working together. Okay,
yes.
This is real.
And
you will eventually, Chris, start seeing when the more you wear the product, your dream field is going to exist in your life, where it happened like in front of you, and you're going to participate in the dream time. So what it means that there is no separation between dream time and reality. It becomes one.
Well, that's the state that Andrew's been talking about continuously.
Yes, and that's what I call being in the quantum field, because now you're literally manifesting every second with a blink of an eye. You can literally manifest things to happen. Okay, when
Pretty
you
exciting
lower your
stuff.
frequency, it won't happen. You have to be in that high frequency. That's why my technology provides that easy button for people to get in the field faster. Okay, and then
Nickie's getting excited. She's starting to mess up her own.
It also promotes you to, I would say, more. Is the connection going bad?
Yeah, look, when you get intense, when you get intense, Nickie, the signal sometimes fades out. So, and you just kind of kicked into that mode there, because look, it is very noticeable, the effect it's having, and what I'm noticing is that it doesn't necessarily stop when I take the pendant off, and that's what we're after. It's staying at that higher level. So really enjoying it.
Chris, eventually, you're not going to be depending on any of those technology. Eventually, because right now it's converting and sustaining you, on a high frequency. And then as life happens, consciously, right, it tends to bring us down. Bad things happen, it brings us energy field down. But with this, it helps you sustain that. It's like a cushion, and it's wonderful because let's face it, life happens, right? To all of us, to the best of us. And we're human, so we're allowed to have some negative thinking and actions. But the thing is, without a T-nano, you can actually falter into that negative field. But with it, it allows you to sustain. So you can only go up. You can only go up. And eventually, when you reach that certain enlightenment, you won't need it anymore. The T-nano, you will not be dependent on it because your energy field has already reached up there at a high level.
Great stuff. And what's happening, folks, is that I'm going to be having Nickie make me a couple of cones, and we'll do the on-air tune. We'll do the tune-up on air. That'll be fun. And as you can tell by the little chuckle in the background, KP has joined us as well. So we'll finish the discussion of the Tano stuff there and say hello, KP.
Wow.
Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah, I forgot I had muted, but I can tell you that I came in, the first word I heard was yo-yo. So that's probably significant right there. And you're speaking about cones, and I just had an ice cream cone. So it seems like we're connected that way. And I also had I'm just sitting. I kind of have a spot here where I am right now that I like to come and talk. It's a little bit quieter. And so I sat down and I turned over this little candy wrapper that was I just didn't even know it was a candy wrapper. I just turned it over, and the candy or whatever it was is called Hawaiian Host.
Uh-huh. And here you are talking to a Hawaiian host.
Well, so, and by the way, the other word that resonated here was the word disc, and I actually have a disc that travels with me all the time. In fact, I left it in my vehicle. It was given to me by G over in Kona, and but I don't know exactly what you call it. It's a scalar disc, or it's just a small, like a pendant you can wear if you want to. But my car said that it wanted to have this all the time with it, and so I look at that as an extra piece of alignment that, it's part of the car alignment. And as you were speaking about karma, also, the connection there was that, well, I was just in a local auto shop here getting my car worked on. So they're like the mothers of my car. So karma, that's
karma, yes.
The joke for the day.
Boom, boom. Karma.
I just wanted to share too one thing, that the communication via dreams. Now I really on Tuesday when I came on the show, and Andrew asked me about, well, what about your dreams? And I really hadn't remembered them, except that, at one point after I woke up, got a very long sleep, but I felt very much drained, like my energy, or, not drained, but really just like, I'd been doing a lot during the dream time. And one of the things that happened last night was there was a dream that was very clear to me that had to do with, it was like some people who were there in Hawaii and involved in, it looked like there was involved in some type of election process. And I was somehow a part of it, not as active as they were, but it was almost like I was working along with them. And I don't know exactly what we were doing, but it was the sense that I had during that period and at the end of that dream phase was that there was, I won't call it an urgency, but there was just sort of a, okay, let's keep going mm-hmm. and continue the process so that I would return to Hawaii and just sort of say, okay, we're not going to dally anywhere, we're not going to delay anywhere, but just do what needs to be done before the final phase of the journey, and then the final phase will take place, and we will physically and with car make it back to go back to the islands. And the other part of that message was that I think we're getting certain groups that we might not have anticipated to kind of work with or work along with in some way. So I don't have all the answers about it, but they will come. And if there's any more information that needs to come out, then I'm sure that it will. I'll get it. So,
yeah.
But I hope everyone is well over there.
Well, you're doing some good work there, KP.
Well, thank you, Nickie. I'm not sure if I've ever spoken with you directly like this before, but I know you are too, and everybody who's on the call and everyone listening to the call, I know are getting. If it doesn't seem like you have a mission going on, it's like, well, this probably is part of your mission, just to listen and to have the seeds planted. That there's so many seeds being planted around that the one that is yours to caretake, to take care of, and to help grow and blossom, is being shared via these calls. There's a ton of information coming out that just, ever since I started listening to the Andrew, it was like, my goodness, there's so much coming out that is really resonating, and wow, this is like, wow, this is so I seem to be saying wow a lot more these days than I used to.
Yeah, me too, KP, and the idea that just listening to these shows is part of the things that people need to be doing, I think is becoming more and more obvious. And as an example, the journey that you're on, the giant infinity sign right around the USA, I'm under the impression that you're actually kind of gathering souls as you go. It's not necessarily that you went on a journey and a whole lot of people were there and started with you. I just have this feeling that you're gathering more and more and more as you go along to pull them out of the literally the time loop, the trap that we're in time, to resolve that for them. So it's
right.
even more important that sorry Nickie, I'll just finish my thought, otherwise I'll lose it. It's probably even more important, and there's no doubt a reason that your voice is being heard on shows like this one as you're going through the journey, because it's probably triggering more and more of that effect as well. Because energetically we can only guess as to the overall effects that shows like this and all the other shows that are going on other networks that are all covering all sorts of stuff that people, if they're listening to it, they need to be hearing it. And the amount of radio that's going to air on the alternate media is huge. There are literally tens of thousands of hours per week, I think, of spoken thought that's never reached the collective before. And I think that's one of the things that's really, really helping to wake up the collective. Now, sorry I interrupted you, Nickie. Would you want to continue with your
No, it was me interrupted you, and it was well said, Chris. And KP, you've done so much. Everywhere you go, it's like you and as Chris said, you do pull people out from those timeline, and you basically pull them out until you clean them up as well. Okay, I don't know if you see that or you feel that, but you clean them up in the energy field karmically as well, and you also planted a lot of seeds, and a lot of times, the seed doesn't sprout. And it's this special time period now, a lot of seeds are sprouting. Leaves are coming out. They're reaching out to the sun. You see, now they're connecting to the sun, and they are accepting of the water, which is the life force that's coming in, and they start to sprout out and becoming its individuality and the self-empowerment. And we're seeing a lot of that now, because of people like you and Andrew that disseminates these sorts of information.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, in fact, even your blog, KP, I think has had a big impact. It's been out there for several years now, and there's been if you just look at it as a body of thought. I'm coming to realise the sheer importance of human thought. We now have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of minds focusing on this issue of our evolution and realizing how important that individual thought is. I think we just can't underestimate it, because thought is a real energy. It's a real thing. So
it is, Chris, and that's why it's crucial that we learn how to control our thoughts. And not to be, when I say self-empowerment, it doesn't mean you freely go and dump your stuff to other people. That is not right, okay? That's why in my session, when I provide to my clients, is you have a safe space that you go and dump your stuff in there before you go and talk to somebody else. Because when you're in somebody else's field, you project all your dumping stuff to them. You're causing harm to their energy field, okay? And those people who are not stabilized, okay, or don't know how to transmute the energy will have more side effects on them. You see what I mean? So as a conscious, self-empowered individual, we have to take responsibility, and the integrity comes with that. So, a lot of times, we talk about a lot about people awakening and self-empowerment. We don't know how to. What comes with that, in terms of human behaviors, the thought, the action, what do we eat, how do we take care of our body? It's so vital, because if you've been hit by other people projecting their dumping energy to you, you can actually cause physical harm. Physical harm.
Yeah.
Some of the signs and symptoms are having a cold. You can shake. So those are no sleep. So those are signs and symptoms.
Indeed.
Well, one of the most valuable things I've learned on this journey is to, when in doubt, shut up.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Because as we go through these, and just my own personal on this travel, it's like, and I'm staying with various people, and of course everyone takes care of their own space in their own way, and as they're sharing their space with me, there are things that come up that says, oh, this is sort of this way, and that's sort of that way, and if it were my place, I wouldn't have it this way, and all this and all that, and it's like, and there's an ego part I know that wants to just blurt out, and basically I just have to talk to, I kind of talk to it, and I say, look, just hold off, relax, take the best and leave the rest, because the rest is trying to express itself. And in other words, there's something clearing, I know, within me as this journey goes on. It's part of my own personal clearing or transformation or transmutation. And I noticed that as I just sort of step back from that ego, almost a need to either criticize or say I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't do that, I just just go back into the place of peace and just say, hey, just take the best, leave the rest, and that will all work out for them in the way that's natural for them. And whether it could be that's working out for me, that I'm realizing that, say, the bed is maybe 6 inches higher than I'm normally used to, or 6 inches lower, some little things like that, that in the overall scope of things, that doesn't make any difference. So that's kind of what I've been getting.
And that's a great tip, because I got to tell you, a lot of times people see things only they can see so far, okay? They can't see beyond the whole entire scope, the holistic thing in the macro scope of things. A lot of times we see things as like cookie crumbs, and then they go and they express themselves and they project that on other people and also for themselves. And so it can be self-damaging because they can't see the outside. They can only see cookie crumbs. You see what I mean? That's why, yes, it is important to whatever, the impression or ideas, or you need to explode, to express yourself, test it out, calm yourself down, spit it out in the closet, somewhere it's safe, count to 3 before you, decide, vote. That's what I always say, do a count. Should I go and talk? All 3 yeses, then you do it. If you have 1 no, then you don't say anything. Just shut up and go to your sacred place and resolve that, or resolve it with someone that can help you, talking through. Because a lot of times we know the answers. We know the answers because our ego and insecurities don't allow us, and the fear included don't allow us to see beyond that. And this is where a lot of times I think light workers get mistaken that, and also the psychologists, they'll tell you, whatever's on your mind, you need to express yourself. But, I define that in terms of how do you safely express yourself in an appropriate manner that will not damage or influence other people negatively.
There was a very interesting phrase in one of Heather Tucci's documents earlier this year, which actually dealt with changing someone's energy levels. Mm-hmm. Okay, in fact, it was, and I forget exactly which one it was. This was relating to having your energy field damaged rather than enhanced, because it was this is a legal document dealing with the the stoush that Heather was having. Heather and the other trustees were having with the literally the powers that were, and it was saying, if there is any noticeable negative change to an energy field, then you're doing harm. Now, this is something that we need to become more aware of as subtle energies become more and more available to us. We have to be responsible with them, which goes right back to the start of this part of the conversation when Nickie said we have to learn to be responsible for everything that we do. And of course it applies to simply the way you use your voice and when you use it, and the value of silence cannot be overestimated. As Nickie just pointed out, if you're in a situation where you feel compelled, in fact KP pointed out, feeling compelled to comment for whatever reason, whether it's just simply that it's pinged your radar at some emotional level, or whether you just don't like where that chair is over there, think first before you actually act on that impulse, because it's not just the fact that you might be moving a chair from one spot to another where people will trip over it. It's the fact that you actually energetically affect people with your actions, with your voice, and it's a layer of human interaction that we're not used to taking into our conscious thoughts and actions. We're not used to consciously considering it. Am I going to, damage this person's energy field by psychically vomiting on them because I'm upset about something? It's my problem, not theirs. Okay, if it's something that relates to them, yes, I need to communicate it to them, but I don't need to dump all my emotions on them, because that will affect their field. And as things become more energetically centered, where the energetics become really important, it's just one other aspect of human communications that we're going to have to tune into and deal with in a respectful fashion, because it gets back to respecting the other person's sovereignty. And I don't have a right to dump all my stuff on you just because I've had a bad day. It doesn't mean that you can't help me to resolve the bad day I've had, but it has to be by agreement. Okay, for instance, you arrive home and you're feeling really crappy. You don't just dump. You say, I've had a really bad day. May I share it with you so you can help me get rid of it? That would be essentially an offer, if you like, an offer of energetic contract at another level. And then it gives the other person the opportunity to say, you look happy too, I can see you're feeling really crappy, let's talk about it. Or they can say, well, I've had a bad day myself. Let's just eat and we'll talk about it later. It becomes something like that. We are really aware at a conscious level of this interplay of energies. It's not just, you're my partner, you're my wife, I've had a bad day, I'm going to come home and you're going to cop it. It's another layer of dealing with one another that simply needs to be assimilated into our activities. Nickie, we need to be taught about this as children.
Yes, it is true. And Chris, I'm so happy that you brought up about being considerate and integrity, and people think that you put light workers together, soul family together. It doesn't matter. Even just family, whatever that may be, just group of people. There always has to be boundary respected. When you mix that up, it gets confused, and then people go crazy, and they have no control, and they lose their grounding. And you don't want that. That's actually causing further harm. There has always have to be a boundary between each individual person, and it has to be respected. A lot of times, like you said, the example, I see that chair. Oh, I don't like that chair. Well, is it you don't like the chair? See, a lot of times we put so much emotional attachment to the object when it's not necessary. Can you also say, well, the chair doesn't look very comfortable for my body? There's no emotional attachment to that versus I don't like that chair.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
And and that is the teaching of no emotional attachment, no attachment. And I like that better because it makes you more grounded. You're looking at the object for what it is, right? Objectively, in terms of design or color, functionality, practicality for how it fits your body, okay? Not because I don't like it. That's being judgmental. You see what I mean?
Yes, and that brings a lot of polarity into it.
Yes,
and you can do that. You can do that if you want to, but just be aware that bringing polarity to a situation will also bring bring energy to you that you may not want.
Right, and when a person initiates those words and thoughts, they're actually causing harm to themselves, and also they're programming themselves. And in many of our talks, we have talked about, we point fingers at how the media and the Illuminati and all these governments program us. It is us that we also program ourselves, and we need to deprogram, take the initiation and stop ourselves from allowing us and subjecting us to do that instead of pointing fingers at the bad people, because we decide. We are the one who decide whether we choose to be emotional, having emotional attachment to objects. We are the one who decide how we want it to be programmed.
It even gets down to things like losing weight, for instance, is a really big problem for a lot of people because they've been programmed programmed emotionally to certain experiences with food, and not just the taste of food or the texture of food, but how food affects their mood. They become programmed, whether they're aware of it or not, to using food as a matter of emotional comfort, or it just becomes a habit that they become. They become addicted to certain types of food, certain flavors of food, and just being aware of the fact that it's a programming process, and actually you're in charge of it.
And another thing is, Chris,
that allows people to deprogram.
Yeah, and talk about programming. This is like a whole different, show in itself. But, a lot of times, why people eat? Emotional attachment, okay? Maybe, remember your grandmother's apple pie? When you eat apple pie, you think of your grandmother. That is being programmed because you facilitate the behavior associated with the object and the experience. That's called programming.
Indeed.
Okay, a lot of times we've been programmed for that. Eating emotionally, emotional attachment, reminiscing about life, your past experiences, things like that. So bringing consciousness to it, bring awareness, make you realize, oh, why am I wanting to eat apple pie? Because I remember the experience and the love that I had with my grandmother. It's that association, okay?
Yeah.
So we have to recognize that.
Yeah, we need to take a break, and I'll just finish that thought for you, Nickie. One of the things that, because everyone has addictions to food. I mean, I've been addicted to chocolate for a really long time, but I know it. And I know that I can deprogram it. I don't necessarily want to, but I can have a chocolate experience by just having a very small piece. Okay, and then consciously having the experience of chocolate, and then I'll just stop because I've had the experience, and that's all I really needed. I don't really need to eat the whole bar. I just need to have that little chocolate experience for a moment, and then choose to move on.
That's right, and that's because you're awakened and aware of your experience, whereas other people, they don't even know or why they wanted to eat apple pies, and they eat tons of it until they gain weight and become unhealthy when they don't realize that I truly miss the love of my grandmother, and that's what they miss. That's why they keep eating the apple pie. When you're not awake and aware, you continue to eat the apple pie. And this is just a cookie cutter for other experiences as well.
Yeah, everything is similar.
Yeah, and everything is similar. It's just about programming, okay? Now, to deprogram is to be awakened and say, okay, I know the reason why I'm eating a lot of apple pie because I miss my grandmother. So instead of eating the apple pie, I can have 1 or 2 bites, and then I'm going to go and connect with my grandmother. Once you connect with grandmother, you won't need to eat the apple pie.
Indeed.
Because now you're satisfied.
Yeah.
You're satisfied with truly what is the heart, the root of the problem, what is needed. This is what your soul, your physical body, emotional, mental aspect needed, was to be connected with the love from your grandmother and to fulfill that experience. And one of the things that I like my product, the Tano, is that, a lot of times, like I said, we go through that negative experiences, okay? The Tano will help you sustain that high frequency where you don't need to go and ups and down having that yo-yo experience.
Indeed. Great thought, Nickie. Nickie, we're going to take a short break so people can actually grab a drink or go to the bathroom, and we will continue the conversation afterwards. But we're going to actually press on and talk a bit, and I'm hoping KP will stick with us. We're going to talk a bit more about the human body. So we'll see you in about 4 minutes, guys. And we're back. Glad you've joined us today, folks. This is the Galactic History Show, having a session just with myself and Nickie Thetsy. Andrew was resting his voice today. And we have a guest in the studio, Quile Pele, who's been on a massive journey around the United States. And we were talking before the break about various aspects of human interaction, which was really quite interesting. And I guess it needed to be out there because we put it out there. And in this half of the show, we're going to move on to more of the subject we've been dealing with Nickie for some weeks now, which is the human body. But before we do, we just wanted to thank KP for joining us and wish him all the best on his journey and find out if there's anything else on his mind that he wants to actually bring to us before he moves on with his day.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening and being a part of this adventure that we're all on. And what had come up was, I just wanted to mention yesterday, I met someone who lives relatively close by to where I am, and her name is Sophia Love, and some of you may have read her pieces on the talk about apple pie. How about a piece of Sophia Love?
Yeah, look, I love her stuff. Not too fine a point on the love side of it, but yeah, I'm jealous, KP. You've got to meet Sophia, and I imagine the impression that you get from people's writings, I find is usually pretty accurate. So I'm jealous. There you go.
Well, that's okay. We all have the freedom to be, that way, and it's kind of a deal where we actually got together and speak of jealous. We did indulge in some wonderful chocolate delights that they had over there, this coffee shop, and so that was, it was wonderful to meet her. And this has happened along the way. I met Erin in Rochester, and of course Hollis in Vermont, and there's a lot of folks I've heard of, but had not actually met in person. And now I'm having the opportunity to meet a lot of people in person, in body, and that seems to be a whole part of the experience here. And I sensed that there were a couple of pieces that were added on to the grand infinity loop, and it appears one of them I can mention, the other one I have to hold off on for the moment, but there's a couple of smaller pieces before the final leg, and I will mention one that appears to be taking me up to Thunder Bay, which is in Ontario, and I may have talked about this the last time, but it has to do with connecting. And you were talking earlier about the water. There's a lot of people working with water, and in this particular journey, a lot of work, a lot of things with water are happening for the clarification, apparently, and for I think the upraising, the higher energizing of all of the water systems of the planet. And when I was traveling through coming through, it was a one-night journey through Canada, and we went past Montreal, over the river, and we probably did a little bit of work there, and then we went to Ottawa, and that was part of Ottawa. Of course, that's the capital of Canada, the Canada Corporation, and so we did something there, and then we crossed back over into the United States at sort of the upper part of the the St. Lawrence Waterway, and so at that point, an energetic crystal was released at that part of the waterway, which is the far east of the major Great Lakes. And so this operation coming up now at Thunder Bay really felt like it was a completion of that clarification of the entire North American lake system. So Sophia was kind enough to, she said, I know you need this crystal. It's not mine anymore. So she gave me a crystal, and that will be used. I feel that will be used for this part of the mission, of the journey. And once that is finished, I will come back probably to the same point I'm at now, and then there appears to be one more piece to do before the final long leg, which is really kind of through the southwest. So that's kind of the news, and the great thing about it is that each part of this is sort of communicated as it's needed, and it just is a matter of just allowing it to happen, not trying to define it, not trying to say, well, I've got to go here, I've got to go there. There's no got tos, there's no have tos. It's simply allowing the messages to come and following those messages and following the guidance, and always trying, really a lot of it is just attuning to the joy I feel when the path shows up. And so that's kind of the news from this end, and I sure appreciate everyone's support and love, and just continue on traveling with all of us as we grow and continue this grand journey.
And it is a grand journey, KP. It's really amazing. I'm getting a big echo from you here, so it's a little hard to speak, but I'll press. Could you mute it? That's excellent. I was wondering whether, in fact, everybody you're meeting along the way is completely connected into from a historical point of view to this journey that you're taking. Because Andrew indicated that it has its roots in the Time Wars and the actual great confusion that the layers and layers of paradoxes have caused to all the timelines for a very long time. And I just wonder whether virtually everybody that you've met is completely connected and involved in that whole process, because I suspect that they are.
Well, it certainly feels that way. It's just so, serendipity is wonderful, but I just feel that there's a harmonizing of all of these elements. And whatever consciousness level they are at, there's this harmonization and synchronization, if you want to call it that, speaking of time, that, yes, I do get that. And folks just all out of the blue will send me an email and say, oh, well, if you're heading this way, feel free to call us and you can stay at our place, or we join you, or something like that. And so I definitely get that.
Yeah, well, the connectedness of all things is something that's jumping right out at everybody at the moment. And I think we're all understanding just how interconnected everything is and will continue to be. And it becomes a celebration in the end. For instance, one of the things that we can do for you is if you can project your route a few days ahead of time by dropping in regularly, we can just keep those connections coming through more and more for you if we can.
Well,
KP, I actually picked up some of your energies as I tuned into you when you were talking. How's your third and second chakras?
Well,
Your second, third chakra. It's like this mid-alignment that also shoot up slightly to at the bottom of your heart.
Well, there could be. I don't really spend a lot of time looking at it, but I haven't, I haven't really. But I have sensed, one thing I did sense beforehand was that I needed to. That was another thing. Sophia mentioned several people that she knows in the area where we are physically right now that might be helpful for me to see.
Well,
so,
would you? May I give you a gift?
Sure.
KP?
I accept
it. It's such an honor to be able to meet somebody like you who go cross country and do work that you do. And I know it's time consuming. You give up your life, also, financially as well. So, if I may, I'd like to give you a gift, and I can help you work on those areas. We can do it on air if we have. Would that be all right, Chris, for us to do that really fast for KP?
Sure. Provided if KP's happy to do that, that's fine. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you, if it's possible to do this off the air, I'm kind of a little bit, let's put it this way. I have a few more minutes that I have to be off. So if you wouldn't mind working off the air, I'd prefer that.
Okay.
Because we can tune in.
Okay,
we can tune
fine.
in.
We could do that, and then yeah. Okay, so then you just guide me when you're ready, and okay, so yeah, because I'm feeling it right now. It goes all the way up right now to my heart chakra, and it's how you process the energy. And what I can do is deconstruct your body matrix, just like what I've done for Chris, and you'll be able to process the energy much faster.
Okay. I'll send you a Skype when I'm ready for that.
And
it's a good time for that.
Yeah, and you will feel that, KP. I certainly did. Yeah, made a big difference.
So, well, thank you so much, Nickie, and that's basically my my journey report for now. And I'm really grateful that everyone's there, and so. In order to continue the journey, there's a couple things I need to purchase at a store nearby here, and so I think I'll go off and do that, and then I'll listen to the rest of the show later.
Great stuff, KP. Look, just keep in touch, and we will take it right out to the party at the end.
That's right. Oh, grand party.
Grand party. Well, if you put out an invitation, you might need to take do 2 trips down to the shop to buy party supplies.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I've got membership, so we're all members of this grand adventure. So it'll all be taken care of.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us, KP. We'll speak soon.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Okay. Aloha to all of you.
Aloha. Okay, Nickie. Well, we didn't really quite have the show.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to do some work on him.
Yes, you're obviously...
It's always good to do that because it really helps your energy, your body transmute or, work on the energy much better rate, work on that level.
Yes. Yeah, it made a very interesting difference to my experience, shall we say. So, Nickie,
and then also, when you're ready, also, Chris, you got to do your ancestral karmic release.
Yes, that's the next step. Yep. Well, we'll talk about that off air and sort out how to do that and when, and that will be fantastic. Actually, that would be really good. Now, Nickie, we have one caller here who's been hanging on for a while. Let's take that call and see what's on their mind. Okay, area code 785. Could we have your name and your question, please?
Carlos.
Carlos, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Hi,
my
Carlos.
question is, Nickie or Chris, if you've heard of Laminine. It's a supplement that the Hollow Earth Network has been kind of talking about, and so I was wondering if you heard about Laminine at all.
How do you spell that, Carlos?
Laminine, and it's a natural supplement. Supposedly it's a natural supplement, and it's supposed to be thought up by the Agarthans. And there's been a lot of, you can YouTube Laminine testimonials, and people are saying this is a great product. They take it, and it helps heal and balance. And a lot of people who have had diabetes or pretty much anything, it I guess reverses that. So I don't know if it's true or not. So I just wanted to know if you guys ever heard of it.
No, I haven't. I have not heard of it, Carlos. Nickie, did you hear that well enough? You just commented that you were having trouble hearing the caller.
I'm not quite sure what I've heard because it was all broken up, but I'll try my best to answer the question for Carlos and our listeners out there.
Okay, you're actually suffering a little too at the moment, Nickie.
Thank you so much for calling and asking that good question, because it is important to. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's okay.
Hello?
That's okay
Can you hear
now,
me?
Nickie. That's okay now, Nickie. Yep. Yeah, keep going. Laminine.
Okay. So Laminine, I really feel like, okay, here's my take on a lot of the supplements out there. Okay. And it is in human nature that we tend to seek mystical things to heal, that fast healing for the physical body. Okay. Laminine is, to me, it's like, this is what I saw. Okay, it is a supplement that is created. Okay, from outside Earth, mixing with Earth elements. But see, the thing is, let's be practical. Okay, how do we get our hands on that, and how much is it going to cost? Do you remember Moldavite? People one point were totally into Moldavite. Now there's no more Moldavite, and the price, went off the roof. My thing is, okay, be practical. There are a lot of things we can do to self-heal ourselves, such as self-meditation. I self-heal myself from tuberculosis just by self-meditation. Okay, Laminine is just another object, okay, that enter in our reality, and it's an extraction from us to going within and self-heal. And self-healing meditation is by far least expensive in terms of cost, but it is more valuable. It is priceless because it takes a lot of time, energy, commitment, change of lifestyle, okay, to go within and reclaim that. Do you see what I mean, Carlos?
Yeah, I do. And I just kind of
because that's not.
I took it for a
yeah, that's not one. There are other stuff out there besides Lalamine that you mentioned, okay, that claim to have miracles, okay, just remember that each individual human being is a miracle. We are the miracle. And people don't want to go within. People don't want to go within and self-heal and see our true skeleton in the closet, so they continue to seek their supplements, okay? You can heal physical, but it will not heal your mental, emotional, and spiritual. That has to be done on the mental processing. There is no such thing as miracle pill that you take and then all of a sudden you become wise and have wisdom and reach enlightenment. There's no thing. That comes from within. That's why we have the human skin suit technology that comes with divinity.
Right.
Just for my information, Carlos, is this like a mineral supplement, or is it a combination of things? What actually is it?
It's derived from egg. It's supposedly like there's an incubation period or something. Like I think after 9 or 10 days, there's somehow this. I don't know what you call it, but that they said it's from the egg. Some doctor in like Switzerland was researching it, and he extracted this from the egg. I can't remember what it is, and then it's supposed to be mixed in with all natural foods or whatever, super high foods, super raw foods or something like that, and. So I'm just wondering if you guys heard of it, because they've been kind of peddling it for a while, and people, I don't know if they find people just say these things, or if people are actually having an effect on them that is really, truly, helping them. So I didn't know, and I wanted Nickie's advice, because she'd probably know more. I don't know, so. And
Sure.
I like her aspect, I really do. It's, I've gone that way too. I don't really meditate much, and I know I should do it more often, but I really don't have any ailments except for, which I was going to ask her about her nanotechnology. I've had this ringing ear for ever since I can remember, and I didn't know if maybe her, like the disc, would help alleviate that, or maybe go and maybe do some meditating, like you said. So.
And the way you describe how it's made, okay, the concept is actually with the egg concept. It's not from here, okay. I see this is not from Earth. The whole concept of creating and with the neutrons from the egg, okay. That's just like, when. The description of mixing egg, okay, whatever the whole egg plus raw food. 60% vegetarian, 40% whatever you want to eat. It's up to you, because it allows you to have the freedom. It's about the freedom to choose, having the option, but not going crazy. And that comes with having the boundaries. Having the boundaries of what is for your highest good and what's not for your highest good, okay? Our body, each individual person is unique to his or her own, okay? So to me, becoming raw vegetarian is not enough, because like I said, everyone's different. So when I do the 60% vegetarian, 40% whatever, I'm allowing myself to eat eggs. So if you can do raw eggs, just eggs plus raw food, you're already satisfying the claim of lalamine. You see what I mean?
Right.
Okay. Yes. So there are a lot of food sources on Earth that are not from Earth. They're actually transplanted from other planets.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So, yeah, there are food sources from other planets.
Nickie, you're
being transplanted to Earth. So there are some that one can conceive and one you should not. And it depends as well on where you are from and what your karmic energy as well as what ET ancestor you are as well. So it will affect what you eat.
Yeah. Okay, Carlos, thank you for the call.
You bet.
Bringing that to our attention. That is very interesting. And yeah, look, meditation is something you have to shift your lifestyle to really adopt. And so it's another exercise in changing habits. And of course, we all struggle to shift our habits. So, but as Nickie has pointed out, the technology that we have far exceeds anything that comes from the outside. It's one of the big messages that we've been getting for a while now. So. We'll leave you with that thought, and I'll pop you back on hold.
I wanted to...
Nickie, I'm going to actually call you back
Chris,
on your...
If I may, I'd like to extrapolate on that whole concept about addiction. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Nickie, I'm going to call you back on your mobile, okay? Because you're fading in and out too much at the moment. Can you hear me, Nickie? Okay, she is. We're breaking up at both ends, so I'll just call her back, and that'll take care of the problem. Skype is quite amazing, folks. I never cease to be impressed by how we can communicate with it. This will hopefully take care of our fade-out problem. You might notice when Nickie gets a bit excited, immediately the problems become worse. I've noticed this with a number of energetic folk that they...
Hi, you have...
I think I've reached her office phone. I'll just have to grab her mobile number. This will take just a moment. Call again. Okie dokie. It's live radio, folks. What can I say?
Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to reach
Nickie Thetsy with none.
Okay, I think I'm back on air again now. We actually dropped the whole line to Blog Talk just at that moment, so I'll call Nickie back in, and we shall press on. There we go. Okay. Sorry about this, folks. The degree of difficulty is often related to Andrew's presence on the call with Nickie.
Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to reach
Nickie Thetsy with nano crystals.
Okay, we'll go back to Skype and see how we can go this time with a reset line.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Nickie. Having trouble getting through to you on the mobile or on the number that I've got for you. I'll have to check the numbers that you're actually on there. We'll just continue with Skype for a minute so we're not jumping in and out too much. We've only got about 15 minutes to go. Okay, so we started off with the show with an intention to actually talk about some more of the human body aspects, but the call with KP was good and it was fun, and obviously needed to get out there because now it's out there. So for the last few minutes of the show, would you like to touch on some of the things that's on our short little list here of yet to be discussed items on the human body from a sexuality and health point of view?
Well, I stress a lot on the physical well-being, and it does have an effect on our mental, emotional, and spiritual, okay? And, everything we talked about today in terms of having boundaries or vomiting our emotion or psychically to other people, all of it affects our sexuality as well, because a lot of times, we joke around or say things, and that's part of affirmation, okay, to our consciousness at cellular level, even if you're joking around. So we have to really be cautious about what it is that we're joking around, and there's boundaries, and this boundary is for oneself. It is not for being considerate to other people's space, but it is also consideration of self-respect and honoring and integrity for one's individual's energy field, okay, and programming your entire system. In terms of sexuality, oh my gosh, such a big topic to talk about.
Yeah,
is there any questions? Should we start off with questions that you may have?
Yep. Well, there was a couple of items on the list that needed to be talked about, and one of them for males was actually erectile dysfunction. That's probably one that we can actually deal with here.
Oh, eat a lot of pistachio.
Sorry?
That will help a lot. Eat a lot of pistachio nuts.
Pistachio.
That will help with erectile dysfunction.
You've made that comment before, Nickie. What's the mechanism by which pistachio is actually assisting?
Well, it's the nutrient content, okay, in pistachio that's unique in its protein that helps with erectile dysfunction, okay. But the erectile dysfunction doesn't come just from the physical; it's also on the mental and emotional experiences that one have had. Okay, so for example, like I said, if you clean out your closet, okay, honoring the body for what it is, you will actually literally connecting. Okay, we're talking about connection again with the inner body, and you can activate your own sexual hypersensitivity, should we say? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Nickie, I've just added your phone number, your cell phone number. You're breaking up really badly. I will actually do the dial-up thing again. Just hold there, and we'll just pull you back in because it's really getting quite difficult. Trying again, folks. This time it should be the correct number.
Hi, Chris.
There we go. That's better.
Okay, much better.
Yes. Now as I was saying, I don't know if a listener caught this part, but to eat a lot of pistachio nuts, because the pistachio has this chemical compound that goes and help with the body's, the male sexual organs. But it's not just the food in itself. There's other components that participate in the human sexuality. That is, yes, you have to have a healthy liver. Yes, you have to have healthy spleen. You need the sugar to be able to support when you're having working up on the orgasm. The human male penis, it has a lot. It's pure muscles. Pure muscle. That means it consumes a lot of energy, okay, when it goes into certain heightened state of sexuality, okay. So you need supplement nutrient, you need good blood flow to flow through that. But when you have emotional or mental negative experience that hamper you from allowing the energy to flow through that area, you can have erectile dysfunction. You see what I mean? So whenever you look at human sexuality, you got to look at the entire concept of the human whole concept. And that is very much the Eastern philosophy teaching in health. Okay? So check your mind, check your thoughts, check on your childhood experiences, past life karma that could be causing this. Okay? So you got to clean all that out. And then allow the energy to flow down to your root chakra if you wanted to correct the erectile dysfunction. Just a quick practical question. You're pointing at pistachio as being very useful. Pistachio is generally presented as either roasted or unroasted, and I presume that unroasted would be more desirable because it's in its fully natural state. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And how much? I mean, pistachio nuts in and of themselves are pretty small. So if you're going to use pistachio to assist, how many would you eat? What's useful?
You know, I think that people would want a concrete quantities and numbers in terms of cups or measurements, but honestly, it really depends on individual. Okay, you know, like for some men, they really need to eat it daily, like half a cup daily. Okay, some men need less because you have to really evaluate on individual case by cases, and you know, some men they're already in top shape health, but on the mental aspect, they're not. Have a lot of closet stuff they need to deal with, so they may not need to eat as much. They may need to just go resolve their emotional, mental aspect. Whereas the other one on the physical level, they need help on that physical level, but they're cleaned up with their, you know, emotional closet. So it's really case by cases.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, for those of you who still want the numbers, you can eat about, you know, half a cup, 3/4 cup, a cup. That's fine. That's okay. It can't kill you. Cannot kill you.
No, pistachios. I mean, I really like pistachios, so that's, you know, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And
you
some
can't
people
OD on it.
you can you?
No, you cannot OD on it.
Oh, you can't
no.
OD on it. Yeah, yes.
No, you cannot.
No, I didn't think so. I mean, pistachio is a particularly pleasant little nut from my perspective. So, in fact, what I actually like to eat is a mixture of pistachios and almonds because there's a nice little contrast going on there.
Right.
But
and also walnuts are great too. It helps actually strengthen your sperm.
Very good.
Okay, so the sperm got to travel, right? It's got to travel up the stream. So the mobility counts. Okay, so that helps. Like I said, it's not just, you know, the food in itself. You got to look at the entire physical body.
The package.
If you have, it's whole package. You know, the liver needs to clean the body out of heavy metal, detox, and you want to have good, clean sperm. You see what I mean? So you need to have a high-functioning, healthy livers.
Any tips on any tips on foods that specifically for cleansing the liver?
Beets are great, and you know, I mentioned a lot of on my Galactic Juice recipe, and beets are great for that. You could do milk thistle, and I would say, you know, I'm not a big believer in purging twice a year cleansing because it's too stressful for the physical body. Okay, there are those that are physically healthy, generally speaking, but they need to do their, you know, purging, what have you. That's fine if your body is okay with it. But I would say, generally speaking, it's not the best way. It's all about maintenance, daily maintenance, changing your lifestyle to a good, healthy one. Then you don't stress out. It's not stress. Now it becomes a normal routine. Okay? That's the difference. And then in normal routine, right, even at an energetic level, we bring in good energy and we get rid of negative energy. We go into negative energy field, we absorb it, and we have to transmute that. It's a daily practice, maintenance. On the energetic level, you also have to do it on the physical level as well. It's a daily processing, whether it's at conscious or subconscious level. And maintenance allow your body, mind, body, and spirit to be at homeostasis, and that's called harmony. Not balance, just balance. It's harmony.
It always comes back to that. In all of these discussions is
right.
In fact, the whole process we're going through as a collective is actually a giant rebalancing.
Yes.
That's actually what's going on here. Now, Nickie, before we move on to any other subjects, Galactic Juice. Now, it's something that you and I have discussed privately, and I'm not sure whether we've actually gone through your list of favorites for inclusion in your Galactic Juice. And this is a blended juice. with everything in it. Do you want to quickly run through your list of favorite items for that juice?
Sure. For practicality purpose, we do. I prefer blending because one, blenders are much cheaper than you get a real juicer. Okay, a real juicer can cost you about like $500, and to me that's not that practical financially speaking. And we have a lot of listeners that are on budget. Okay, so I'm huge on being practical. So you do your beets, cut up your beets, put in like a half slice of lemon, and put half of oranges, can be nectarine, tangerine, and do your kale, Swiss charts, arugula, pomegranate juice is wonderful, coconut water is great for the electrolytes, and I do wanted to add for the sexuality purpose is adding Napa cabbage or bok choy, either of those two, because they have these chemical compounds that actually literally go and help your body, for male and female, to get rid of the harmful estrogen. There's two forms of estrogen. There's a good one and there's a bad one. Okay, both male and female do hold the estrogen hormone, which in our society considered the female hormone. Okay, male tend to have big boobs because of the bad hormones. Okay, and that's not just from eating bad, high oily, fatty food. That comes from your hormone, which, like I said, it's a domino effect. When your liver's off, it'll cause other problems to other organs because they do communicate to each other. So you have to take care of everything, not just one, focus on one organ. Okay, so do your Napa cabbage. I tend to eat a lot of kimchi, which is raw Napa cabbage. It's not one of those foods you want to eat when you go out on a date, okay? And it could be very spicy. So spice is actually good for sex as well, okay? Just so you know.
Yep.
Yeah, and to increase that male sexuality, you can also add cinnamon. Oh, cinnamon is wonderful. Okay, you can add that, sprinkle some of that maca. I get that from Amazon. Definitely add protein between 30 to 40 milligram per day, depending on your physical body, weight and height, and also how active you are. If you do massive amount of energy work like I do, you do need quite a bit, and I'm 5'2", 100 pounds on a good day. Okay, so because I can lose about 3 pounds.
Yeah, what do you use for the protein?
I do hemp, I do quinoa, and I do eggs. Eggs I don't do every day, maybe 2-3 times a month. Just depends. I like to leave that option, that 40% to come in and eat. And like currently being on the island, it's a little bit challenging. So being with the Soul family, and so we eat different food, and it's okay. This is why I love having that 40%, because I can eat pork, I can eat whatever, and feel good and not feel guilty. The key here is not feeling guilty. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no.
You can eat healthy food, live a healthy life, but if there's a lot of shame, guilt, and doubt, then that's bad energy. It's better for you to have that, the balance.
Now, do you actually add eggs into the juice, or are you just talking about eating eggs
No,
separately?
no, just separately in terms of, right, because in the morning what I like to do is juice, okay, and then after that, then I can eat whatever I want. It's just in the morning, at least you get your high fiber. The key here is also high fiber, because it provides environment for your intestinal bacteria, the natural flora in your intestine, to strive, and it'll also go in and eat all the bugs that don't belong there. And it'll also help with absorption of heavy metal and toxic. Okay? Any toxicity in your guts, it'll go and absorb and pull that out on a daily basis. And yes, you need to do it on a daily basis. So high fiber is necessary. And then sometimes I add chia seed. I would soak it for about a couple hours, and then I put in my juice, or I'll just eat it plain, separately. Okay, and then I add papaya and pineapples are great enzyme for digestion. Okay, and mangoes because I like tropical fruits, and and sometimes I'll add like parsley are great as well for detoxing. Just different things that you like, maybe carrots and tomatoes. A lot of these are all organic that I grown from my backyard and no pesticide. Just whatever in the local areas that you can get to. I like, sometimes I'll have like 23 different ingredients from blueberry, raspberries, boysenberry, whatever's in the season, add to it. Yeah, you can't go wrong the more you add.
Yeah,
sometimes I'll add cucumber.
Pretty much anything, Nickie, actually.
Yeah, pretty much anything. Just a little bit of everything.
And
but the key here is to make sure a lot of kale. A lot of kale.
A lot of kales.
I do a lot of kale or Swiss chards. And sweet potatoes. That's one of my favorite things. It really smooths out the texture. Is the sweet potato, and you want to drink this within like ASAP after you finish blending it.
Excellent. It's pretty much. Do you vary it every time by the sound of it?
Yeah, I do because it depends on what I have in my refrigerator. Sometimes I ran out of things and I don't put it, and I don't stress out about it. The key here is not to stress out. You want to enjoy. You want to do it with when you're happy, and you're going to provide these nutrients for your body, and you will feel great. And when you allow yourself this to be in the state of mind, on a mental, emotional, and physical, guess what? When you have attacked by high amount of negative energy and having to transmute and process also on the mental, emotional level, you will not become sick.
Great advice. Great advice. Yeah, look, there's
I've seen too many.
Yeah,
seen too many people get sick and they go through purging, and it's horrible for the body. If my body go through purging, I would be sick on the floor, or you have to call 911, take me to the ER. I don't like that. I want smooth, easy button. It's all about maintenance.
Excellent. Excellent. Look, it's all a matter of achieving that right set of habits to maintain the balance.
Yeah. And when you have mental, mind, physical body balance, it also will affect your hormone production. That will affect your sexuality as well. Okay? There have been studies done in Norway where, they said statistics have shown that a lot of times men are so stressed out from work and women stressed out from being domesticated wife, because that's a lot of work for those mothers out there. And by the time both of them get together at night, they can't even have sex because they're so stressed out on a mental and emotional level. You see? So if you take care of a lot of that, it will not have the effect on the physical body. And even if you do have the mental, emotional stress that affects the physical body, but your body is such a high frequency, okay, that it won't affect it. So you can still maintain that homeostasis of harmony and allow the amazing sex to happen. So statistics have shown that when men help the woman out doing domestic work, besides the bonding, creation of that, right, less stress, the couple were able to have most amazing sex.
Yep, done that too.
Why do you think people go on vacation?
Yeah.
No stress.
Exactly.
So they have amazing sex.
Yep.
Right? Otherwise, when you have stress, you're just having sex to de-stress. So you're dumping the stress onto your partners. And we talked about boundaries. Remember, we talked about boundaries.
We
that's
certainly
not a good
did.
boundary to have.
We certainly did. No, we don't want to cross that boundary because that's the opposite of what sex should be, a communion above all things, and a harmonious communion. So as soon as we add all the other stresses of life into that, it becomes something else again. However, look, Nickie, we're at the close of the show here. Thank you for your time today. We've had a very wide-ranging discussion. All sorts of things have come and gone through the discussion, so I hope everybody enjoyed it. I certainly did. A lot of good information too. Not the same kind of, powerhouse fire hose that Andrew Bartzis produces, but it's all about us achieving balance and harmony in our lives, and the knowledge to do that is something that we really need to put out there. And above all, the thought, that we actually do have for every minute and every moment of our lives, we do have the choice to actually achieve that harmony. Above all, if we choose it, first of all, we're halfway there.
Yes, and life is all about being in the harmony of the environment, harmony within ourselves, and harmony with the people that we are with. Okay, so there are boundaries, there are, reservation of the integrity and consideration for each other and for ourselves, because you respect yourself, you respect others as well, rather than just dumping onto each other. And that will affect you on your body, your hormones. Yes, it will affect your hormone. When it affects your hormone, it affects your sexuality. That's why I keep saying I create my technology to help people sustain that high frequency, because once you're able to sustain that, sex is actually becomes better, because now you can sustain your sexual orgasm, a longer period of time, or you can modify that and come multiple times. Okay, you can even have a sexual orgasm at the optimal level that lasts you more than an hour. It could be 6 hours by being able to tap into that energy.
Definitely need your galactic juice for the 6-hour one. Definitely.
Right, and I know that every time I come on your show, or especially with your show, even by myself alone, if I get too, jacked up or hyped up, I know it'll distort the Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm trying to maintain my calmness, so then it won't interfere. Do you notice every time I start getting fired up, the distortion?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Instantly.
Yeah.
So we have to watch.
Instantly.
We have to watch that. Nice and calm.
Yeah, nice and calm. And I already burned up so many of my cell phone. Every month I have to get a new phone, and I don't want to burn up my Mac computer.
Not good. Well, Nickie, thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll continue this discussion next week. The first show for me next week is the Repurposing show, which is Sunday for you folks, and rather late Sunday. And I'm trying to actually shift that time so that it's a bit earlier for the people on the East Coast of the United States. We'll see how I go with that. But look forward to everyone's company next week. Nickie, do you want to give the website for your Tano technology?
Sure. My website is www.tnano.net. You'll find a lot of information of what I do, and the ancestral karmic healing will still be continued providing for everyone. It is giving us time slot, okay, but you're not going to have one-on-one interaction. That's because what I found out is that whenever I set one specific date, you'll get more attacks or influence by outside forces. So I like to just kind of give it a week of where I do the work. So it's just a lot less hassle in so many aspects. So I just want people to understand that. And I wanted to thank my listeners and our supporters out there who send a lot of love and frequency. I really appreciate it. I may have all these energies and gifts, but I'm still human. So I appreciate your love and support.
Yeah, as do I. So we'll see you all again next time. It'll be next Tuesday for the United States for the next Galactic Historian show. And I wish everybody a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.